What is up, Hambone here, and I am bringing you another Last of Us multiplayer strategies video, and the topic of today's strategies video is the machete. Now, I know I said I'd bring this video to y'all earlier this week, but I ended up switching its place with the flamethrower video because the machete had some inconsistencies that I wanted to work out with it, and I wanted to make sure that I had them corrected and knew what the machete could actually do, and I'm pretty sure I figured them out now. So I'm now going to go over some pros and some cons with the machete, and I hopefully will be able to get my point across with this weapon because it is a bit of a dual-sided sword when you use it, because there are some good advantages, but there are some really bad disadvantages to it as well. So the first advantage to this weapon is that it is the fastest swinging melee weapon in the game. This means that if you're in a fight with someone who is a 2x4 and you're both at max health and they don't have the upgraded 2x4, you will always win that fight. This also means that when you're up against someone who, of course, is just punching you, you will always win that fight if you're both at full health. Now, the next advantage of this weapon is without a doubt the most important advantage of this weapon, and that is it is always a 2-hit down when you run into someone who's at full health. And this means that it's always a 2-hit down when they don't have armor on, and when they do have armor on, it is always a 2-hit down. And this was the inconsistency factor I was worrying about, because I never could tell if it was always a 2-hit down on people who have armor, but it has never took me more than 2 hits to down someone that had armor. So I'm going to say it is always a 2-hit down on people who have armor, which is really cool. It's really quick at taking people down on armor at close range. So that is the biggest advantage to this weapon, and without a doubt the most important. But there are some huge disadvantages to this weapon. The first being that it only has 2 hits on it, meaning that you can only down one person with it, really, more than likely, before it breaks, which is kind of bad, and it really brings up to the next disadvantage of it, to why this weapon is really bad, is the amount that it costs for loadout points. This weapon is not worth, the way it is now, 4 loadout points. There are some things that I think they could do to make it worth 4 loadout points, or make it worth maybe 3. I think it's worth about 2 right now, the same as the flamethrower, but I'll go over those later. But you know, it's definitely not worth 4 loadout points. It's kind of like a, you know, it's a weapon that if you're going to use it, it better be because you want to use the machete, not because it's a good weapon, because it's not worth the 4 loadout points at all. It's not worth taking, you know, away from other things in your class. And then next disadvantage is that it has no one-hit feature on it unless they're already hurt, and it has no insta-kill feature on it, which I think it should. And I'm saying this because the upgraded 2x4 can insta-down people, and the machete itself has no one-hit feature unless they're already hurt. So getting back to what I was saying earlier, if you were running into someone and you were both at full health and they had an upgraded 2x4 and you had the machete, you would get a hit in with the machete if y'all both swung at the same time, but then you would get one hit down by the 2x4, and there would be nothing you could do about it. That would happen, and it sucks. And it's kind of crappy, because even when you have the upgraded machete, which is supposed to be the best melee weapon in the game, it still loses to an upgraded 2x4. So I really don't like that at all. It kind of upsets me. But you know, getting to my next point is maybe they could do some things to make the machete a little bit better. The first of which is being, if they're going to leave the machete the way it is now, lower the cost of it, because it sure as hell is not worth 4 points the way it is now. Without a doubt, it's not worth 4 points. But if they were going to leave it at 4, if they're going to leave it at 4, I almost have to suggest they do this. They give it a shiv function to where it does an insta-kill when you come up behind someone. I feel like they have to do that. And then make it to where instead of downing people, it just kills them. That would make it worth 4 points. It would make it a very deadly weapon, and it would make the 4 points worth it. It would definitely make the 4 points worth it in that case. In fact, I could see a whole lot more people using the weapon then. Because right now, the only time you ever see someone using the machete is when you see someone who's the last person left on the enemy team, really. So that's one. Those are some main things that they could do, I think, to improve the weapon. But will they happen? Probably not. But going over this class real quickly. This is just a loadout that I use for the machete when I try to use it as a main weapon. I had some success with this class. I had some games where I was doing pretty good with it. I did have to fall back on the revolver quite a bit, even though I tried not to, just because of situations where I had the machete and they were just too damn far away and they wouldn't push me and I couldn't push them because I didn't have any armor. So the revolver is our sidearm. Of course, you know, my personal favorite sidearm in the game. And then our first perk is Covert Training 3. I really like this with this class because the main reason is the being not marked is fine. I really like it. That's kind of why I went with Covert Training 3 also, because I did like that. But the not being able to show up on listen mode is really helpful when you're using the machete, because it's also nice to be able to surprise people with this so they're not expecting you, so maybe they don't come around the corner with a shotgun or something expecting you there and they just aim and blow your face off. So not being able to show up on people's listen mode is great for when you're trying to use the machete and you need someone to get close to you without knowing you're there. It's really awesome. And you start with the shiv, which is nice too. So the next perk is Brawler 2. I like Brawler 2 because it does add an additional hit to it. Besides the 2 that Brawler 1 adds, you now get 3 additional hits, giving you 5 total for the machete, which is really awesome. And you also gain back 10 health each time you land a hit with the machete, which is nice in itself too. But I mainly want this because I can upgrade the machete to have more hits, which makes buying it more useful. And our last perk is Marathon Runner 1. And this is here because if you're trying to use the machete as a main weapon, you're going to be in some sticky situations where you need to run away as fast as you can, and Marathon Runner helps with that, and hopefully it will prevent you from dying a couple times. But that's about it for this loadout. This is just a simple loadout because there's no really effective way to use the machete as a main weapon other than just hoping you don't get shot or killed when you're meleeing someone. So with that being said, I'm now going to put up some clips for you to watch of me using the machete, showing how quickly it downs and how it can work against armor. So I will see y'all over there in a second. And the clip coming up after this one is actually pretty nasty. It's a nice little triple I got that involved using the machete. But as usual, if you like this video, thought it was helpful or informative, be sure to give the video a like. And then if you like videos like this for The Last of Us, be sure to subscribe to my channel because I try to post a video almost every day. I usually don't post on the weekends, but I try to on Saturday at least. So be sure to subscribe to my channel if this type of video or The Last of Us videos interest you, because I try to post as often as I can. And as usual, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.